common belief is that the one and only boogeyman lives right under your bed. However, this statement could not be further from the truth. In reality, there are actually 5 boogeymen, and they all seem to reign from the south city of Alabang. Basically Saturday Night is a local 5-piece boogie band, bridging the gap between bouncy funk and modern electronic. Before the pandemic, this band was igniting the dance floor in both small bars to the biggest stages such as Wonderland. In this episode, I was lucky enough to share some time with face-melting guitarist Junoy Manalo and the Pinoy Sinatra Migie Garcia to talk more about their origin story and what lies ahead for these budding rock stars. I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and don't forget to share it with the homies if you did. So now, let's get groovin' with Migie Garcia and Junoy Manalo.
That was a hoot!
What is poppin', and welcome to the Rocka's Modern Life Show. My name is Rocka, future veterinarian, ex-varsity athlete, and dude who loves to talk about all things hot in PH pop culture. Despite the name, the show ain't about me, but truly about the unique things that my guests bring to the table, while also providing some quality kalokohan. So buckle up and let's get rockin'. Sup fam? I just got some really exciting news that I want to share with you all before we start the show. I was just able to partner up with Shopee!
As in Chris Aquino Shopee?
As in Jose Mario Chan Shopee? You know it. So now whenever you order using my personalized link, you'll be supporting a broke sad vet student, which is me. Get all of the hottest deals for the lowest prices on Shopee by clicking on the link in my description or in my bio. And I know when you don't click it. Also, Resort World Manila, not a sponsored post. Again, I really appreciate the support. So now let's get into the episode. What's poppin', everyone? What's up, boys? Why don't you introduce yourself, your profession, and a guilty pleasure song of yours?
Yo, what's up? Hi guys, I'm Migie G. They call me Migie G, Migie Croon as well. I'm the vocalist of Basically Saturday Night and CEO and co-founder of Jago Delivery Services Incorporated.
Hey.
Guilty pleasure song? Damn, madami. I like it. Recently, I've been listening to Bamboo again, so it's so far away. Also, I believe I can fly. Kasi,
Just on those days.
Yeah, those days, man. Yeah.
In the morning specifically, when you need that little pick me up.
Fair enough. That's a good choice.
Good choice. Junes, go for it, man.
What's up? I'm Junoy Manalo. I play guitar for Basically Saturday Night. Paul Martin and the Rascals. I'm a guitar instructor. I guess you could say aspiring producer. And guilty pleasure song. Probably Passion Fruit.
Passion
I'm not
Fruit,
the biggest Drake fan,
Mhm.
but when that song comes on, I'm 100% Drake fan. like in that moment, I'm like, oh my god, you guys leave me to it. Yeah, I would say Passion Fruit.
Yeah, great pick. You know,
Thank you.
Even though it's like a basic bitch song, I call me a basic
Yeah, no,
bitch, man.
it's-
I love it. I
yeah.
love it.
If that's what it takes, man, all the way.
Quick thoughts though. How did you like CLB? Did you listen to CLB?
Fuck yeah, man.
Migs, go because I haven't heard it. Migs, I'd like to hear what
Yeah,
you think,
I've
and
been-
Rocket what you think as well.
Dude, I've been listening to it actually, like non-stop. Kasi it's good for like working out,
Mhm.
or like, on the way to work, I'm just listening to No Friends in the Industry. Parang it just
Right.
gets you there. Parang boom, bro.
Yeah.
But, yeah, interesting. So I've been listening to that and Donda also. Donda's quite different, but
My goodness, Don, that's like 27 songs. Like,
Dude,
fine,
yeah,
out talking
it's
about
so
it.
long.
Hard work, man.
hard
Yeah.
work for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, I like Drake's album, man. It's a banger, I think. Number one song, Champagne. What's that? Sorry.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. The first song on the album was really good. Like
Champagne
the
Poppy
Drake-
Ata? No, that's his username.
I think that might be his handle.
Yeah, that might be his handle. But yeah, like I actually fucked with CLB too. But like with Drake, you kind of expect he's gonna come out with bangers. Like he's just so consistent. He always does.
Yeah.
Like kahit papano. But I like the other songs too. I like Raise My Mind. The song with Kid Cudi, I Miss You Too. Me too. That was really good too. But personally, I kind of fucked with Donda a little bit more. Just overall production for
Interesting.
me was a little bit better. Drake's a much better rapper in my perspective. Like his bars are a lot better. Like Kanye can get kind of experimental and weird with his bars, but
Yeah.
in terms of production value, my God, Donda was so good.
Maybe that has something to do with the fact that like Kanye, because I actually haven't, I mean, almost embarrassed to say I haven't heard both, but I'd assume production wise, it's because Kanye is also a producer. And I know that he worked with a producer
Mhm.
in, was it Mercedes Stadium, I think?
Yeah, he like lived there.
Like
for,
he lived there. Right? Like I would just see it on the internet on like Complex, you know, like everybody
Yeah.
follows Complex, right?
Of
So
course.
everybody sees the same stuff, at least from Complex.
Mhm.
And yeah, like it was they would like sneak peek where it's like him and that engineer, and there were even memes about like how he actually kidnapped the engineer and he's trapping him there in Mercedes Stadium or something like that.
Seems like a
I just
Kanye
found it
thing to
funny.
do.
It would be right. Well, who
So
knows?
funny, don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but in terms of charts, actually, I was just looking this up a couple of days ago. Kanye is still in the lead in terms of total streams and downloads. So, I mean, interesting. Like, apparently, there was like a lot of backstory to it. Like, they were really waiting on each other to release it first. But then the problem with Kanye is like you never really know with that guy. Like
He's
he
more
keeps his,
unpredictable, no?
yeah, he's so unpredictable. He keeps his circle super tight. When on the other hand, Drake is kind of like, when I think about Drake, it's actually more of a team. He's just like the face of the team. But then I know that he has like his own writers in his the six OVO.
Right.
Yeah.
You-
He has a
Yeah.
bigger team.
hmm Kanye is
That's
just
true.
all him, and he's more
Yeah.
sporadic in that manner.
That's a good way to put it. He's a very sporadic character.
Yeah. But all right, nice to know that you guys are doing well. I know that you guys are both pretty busy. Junoy with his teaching gig, and of course Migie with Jago, which for the listeners that don't know, why don't you give a brief like background on what Jago is and yeah, share what you
Oh,
got.
yeah. Jago basically a delivery courier service. No, basically we built an app, and we're still actually in the process of building the app. We're launching on November, so stay tuned. We actually did a beta testing last year.
Mhm.
I believe you guys tried it out, so
Of course.
I want to thank
Yep.
you guys for that also. And
Oh, absolutely, man.
you guys should check it out when it drops. So we're here to really help out the SME businesses as well. We want to be able to be your local delivery partner and assist you with your deliveries, sending it out to your clients at a great rate, actually a great price. So I mean, support local, right? And
Absolutely, man.
Amen.
yeah, yeah. So coming soon, man. November actually. We're eyeing second week, so if we can do that by then, that would be excellent. And hope that you guys download the app.
Yeah, man. Jago is awesome. Like, because my sister had a business and she was working very closely with Jago for a while. My sister had a business called Snack Den. Rest in peace.
Shout out to
It
Snack
was like-
Dan. They sponsored the pod
Yeah.
like once upon a time, like last year.
Yeah, they did. They did. I was the biggest fan, and I would like, but anyway, like, I just remember that they were right. You guys were working very, very closely together for
Yeah,
the duration that when they were still active.
Yeah, we were doing deliveries for them weekly actually,
Yeah.
and it was great because we were able to, we were taking photos of the riders, being able to handle the goods, and yeah, it was just really great to help out local businesses as well. So thanks for that, man. I'm glad that Vicky was able to get on that as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Dude,
Like,
and
that's the goal, is to be able to serve and employ and empower the Filipino businesses.
definitely, man.
One
And-
delivery at a time.
Yes, sir. Jaco. Ang masahan. Let's go. But real talk though, guys, you might be thinking like, why am I going to use Jago versus like all of these other couriers that, that currently exist? But dude, the riders, like the few times that I use them, you guys have like one of the most nice and genuine riders out there. Like they were so polite and then always messaging me with a smiley face and then giving me updates with my package because I was sending my school documents actually to Los Baños. So Makati to Los Baños was pretty far, and Jago gave a great rate, and I forgot the name of the rider, but he was so
And
chill.
I remember that. Kuya
Yeah,
Fran.
Kuya Franz, shout out kay Kuya
Shout out.
Franz.
Remember. Yeah.
But yeah,
Great.
watch out for Jago, guys. And why don't we head on to the first question of the show, and how I always like to start my pod by asking my guests, what's poppin'?
What's poppin'?
So boys, what's poppin'?
Good, Junes.
Yeah, well, I've been teaching. I've spent the duration of lockdown teaching. Actually, it's been really good. I spoke to Rock a little bit about this off the record earlier, but yeah, it's really cool being able to get in touch with people that have really, really different goals, like musical goals, and just trying my best to help them. Different goals, different age groups. Really fulfilling for me, and I'd love to see them, get yabang one day. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're the ones on
Flex on
stage.
them.
Like, yeah, look at this, look at it. I'd love that. Like this, that would be a little joy for me. So teaching has been my thing. And in terms of consumption, I've been consuming a lot of actually I've been studying a lot of like frequency charts. I'm working on an EP. So just like trying to get better at like music production and stuff. So definitely that.
And you just dropped an EP like a couple of months back.
I did about like almost 3 months ago, but like
Honors.
I am trying to make this one much better. I have told some people that like it was pretty challenging. I was using a 2012 MacBook or maybe even 2011, and it was there were so many things I could have changed about. This was Tarantism 1, and there's so many things I could have changed, but the two main factors were like one was my limited experience at the time, and two was like if I wanted to make a big change, I'd have the rainbow wheel for like 5-10 minutes, and to try to make how many big changes. It got to a point where after a while you're like, yeah, well, maybe it's not so bad. Like you kind of just like
start compromising with yourself.
You start like after the denial, you start to accept like maybe they'll think it's intentional, whatever it is. So I hope that this will be a little bit different. I put a little bit more time and more studying into it.
So you got a new laptop and computer setup?
Actually, the week of the release, I got a new laptop, or a little bit before the release. And the week that it came out, I was already starting on this one. So just kind of working on that and studying how to improve it a little bit more. So that's what I'm consuming on the serious side. And if I'm just having fun, I'm consuming a lot of Hot Ones. You guys watch?
It's great.
You guys watch Hot Ones?
Yeah.
Of course, man. I rip off a lot of my stuff from Hot Ones actually.
So good. That's what's popping for me.
Yeah.
That's great, man. And for anybody that hasn't checked out Quarantism 1, please go to Spotify and check it out. It's a banger. Whether you want to party, whether you want to study. I personally use it for studying a lot of the times because it's a lot more instrumental, and it keeps that momentum going as I'm studying. And
Thank you,
I can only expect Quarantism 2 to be even better now that you have a new laptop setup, and you don't have to deal with that last the 2012 one. Like, geez, bro.
Yeah, it's a big change. It's a huge change.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mas maganda pa yung computer ng DOH, bro.
That's a lot of damage.
Oof, shots fired.
True that, man. True that.
Papa Doots, don't cancel me, please. All right, man. Migie, what's been popping to you, bro?
Well, yeah, man. I mean, busy working on the next release of Jago. So that's on November. Stay tuned. Also, writing some new material for the band as well. And I've been seeing June's.
Which is great.
Which is great, man. Because that's how, we started. We just come over and jam, and we're doing the same thing again. And it feels great to get back on that that vibe, man. So we've been coming out with some songs, and we're really excited to for the public to hear it as well. I also started dabbling with crypto a little bit. My cousin, he's really deep in it, and he's shout out to JV, by the way. And yeah,
JV.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys know Ted Lasso,
Oh,
but
that's great.
my
I
girl,
love that show.
shout out to my pretty mama. Yeah, we've been banned at watching it. We finished the whole thing like maybe 3 days or something because it's like 30 minutes an episode, right? So
And it's good
yeah,
vibes long, dude. Like, I don't know. Juno, have you seen it? Ted
I
Lasso?
haven't. Is this on Netflix or HBO?
It's actually Apple
yeah, it
TV.
Oh, cool.
happens.
Yeah. So
So,
you
Dead
generally
Dead
need
Lasso.
yeah, Ted Lasso. Ted.
Dead
Like
Lasso. Sorry.
like the teddy bear. Yeah,
Got
it's
it.
super good. It's basically like a quick plot overview for the listeners also that
Hit me.
haven't checked it out yet. It's this like football coach, as an American football coach, college coach that is from Kentucky. So he's as like country as you can get, very American. And there's this football club, like soccer football, in the UK that was kind of having some ownership problems. So I won't spoil too much about what's going on. But the new owner was basically trying to tank the reputation of the team. So what she did was she hired a random ass coach from the US that knows nothing about soccer football and just wanted to fuck shit up. But it turned out that that the coach is a pretty good guy, and I think
Is he Ted Lasso? I hope
Yeah.
that's not a spoil. He's Ted Lasso.
yeah, the
Cool.
coach's name is Ted
Very
Lasso.
cool.
Yeah,
Very
but it's
cool.
really nice, good vibes. It's funny, like
Yeah.
old school sitcom, no? Like parang it's like
Yeah.
it has the comedic parts, but it's very wholesome also.
Is it only one season in?
2 seasons now.
Cool.
And it makes you like, parang it makes you feel so good inside na parang how people are so nice. Like while seeing in the show, like it would be so nice if the world was that. Like
Was
like
as
a
nice as Ted,
Lasso,
no?
nice as Ted Lasso, just understanding, being able to adapt in certain situations without having to throw fits, just really like being wholesome. Very nice, very
Yeah.
nice.
Gives you a little bit of those butterflies in your tummy,
True.
like after those inspiring stuff. But I highly recommend it. I think anybody from like you don't even need to be a sports fan to enjoy that show.
Seriously, yeah.
But it's plus points if you are.
I trust your taste, both of you guys. So I'm very down.
Yeah, and you could torrent it. I mean, I'm not gonna promote it,
Yeah,
but
no,
I'm also not gonna
I'm-
bullshit. We're in the Philippines, like just
Yeah,
torrent
no.
it.
It is what it is. I actually started downloading it now while you guys were talking about it.
Alright, nice. Get on this shit.
Oh,
But yeah, nice to know that you guys are both doing generally okay. It's been a while since I've seen the two of you in person, and
Too
like
long.
I was too long, and I was just about to say a while ago off air, but perfect. I could say about it now. Like when you guys were about to have a gig in Polo Club around March 2020.
Oh, yeah.
And I was super looking forward to that because it had you guys and Overdrive. And I love Overdrive
Yeah.
also as a band. And, it was just going to be such good vibes. And when that event got canceled, that's when it really sunk in like, oh shit, we're in the
This is
pandemic
real.
now. This is for
real.
real. This is for real now.
Yeah.
And that was like
Absolutely.
the weekend where, like right before lockdown, the first lockdown.
Yes, it was about like because I remember so clearly that was March the 6th. And I think we locked down like less than a week after.
Yeah,
something
like
like
the
that,
8th or
right?
9th, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it was the weekend right before. And like it was gonna be big. I think big enough to fill the what is that, the ballroom of Polo Club, I think.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think they were targeting something like 700 people. And
Yeah.
the cases just started hitting. And so it wouldn't have made sense for an event that of that size
Mhm.
to have still pushed through. But like I remember I was having lunch and we were gonna go sound check in a bit. It was like that close. Like we found out as like I
Yeah.
found out as right Mix. It was you who messaged. Like we kind of just
Yeah.
found out that date, and we were so like the night before. I think we had 2 or 3 rehearsals that week
Yeah, dude.
just to make sure that we were because Overdrive they've been in the game.
They're vets.
absolutely locked. They're vets.
Straight up.
Which is very interesting. Just a fun fact. Because we off air were talking a little bit about Nicole Asensio, who's her mom actually sings in Overdrive.
Yeah.
And then Rock's cousin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and my
so, like,
cousin.
What?
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay.
Small world. My mom's like
is
second
the world
cousin.
going.
Yep. That's why I was
World
so
gets a
hyped,
little
man.
smaller, everything.
Because I've been listening to
Oh, yeah.
Overdrive ever since I was a kid, and then now that I got
Amazing.
older, then you guys were like the main live band that I would check out multiple times. I'm like, oh my
Thank you.
god, greatest collab since Endgame,
Yeah.
and then bam, Thanos snapped his motherfucking fingers,
He
and
did.
the
He
vid
did,
hit.
man.
We'll run
Like I
that
thought that was just a movie, man.
I am inevitable.
Yeah. Like what the fuck? Why is it happening in real
Yeah,
life?
no,
And
that's
then you were
true.
so
And-
naive, pa. Like, 1 month lang yan. Reschedule lang
that's
to
why.
April, and then
Yeah.
We thought it was gonna be
2
mild,
years.
right? I was
Yeah.
excited because Miguel was gonna spin also. He was gonna be
Yeah.
like the after hours kind of like, which it was gonna be huge. I remember like I haven't been that nervous for a show in a while, which is why we prepared in excess for it. Because the shows that we had prior, I guess, did not need as much preparation.
We had Cebu though. Cebu
Yeah,
was
and
like,
Wonderland, bro.
No, but like I mean, I'm talking about like within that year,
yeah,
All right,
like
right.
within 2020, because it was a slow start. First quarter of 2020, and we were expecting it to pick up, right? It was just about to. I think that would have been, if I'm not mistaken, our fourth show lang that year.
yeah.
Wow.
We did one in
That's what I mean by like the others did not need that much prep, because like we were kind of just starting up again. Like we had one show which was it was a fundraiser for Taal, so it was like the beginning of that really shady year.
Yeah.
And then we did a show out of town. We had one more that doesn't come to mind right now. And then that would have been
the Baleard. We had one.
no, that one I counted as the out of town one. But we had another one, I forget.
But yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So that would have been amazing.
Yeah, and it was a bummer because you guys really you guys were really getting the ball rolling. Like I think I was listening to you guys ever since the times you guys would just have sessions in Cloud's house when like no one's home would play, and then you guys would play too. And then you guys like won the Wanderfest. I forgot what the
Yeah,
competition.
the Wander Battle.
Wander Battle, and after that event, like you guys really just got the ball rolling, and it was really exciting because it was like nowhere to go but up. But everybody like got affected by this pandemic, and you guys have found ways
Absolutely.
to pivot throughout it. But yeah, you guys were getting really big now, so it's kind of unfortunate. But I mean, I also want to know like how did you guys like start your musical career? Because I mean, you guys were just. I'm pretty sure you guys were just like playing in each other's houses, like Miggy was mentioning. That's kind of like how it started. Like you and Junoy just like hanging out, jamming out together, and then next thing you know, like you're playing in the same event as Overdrive and in Wonderland. So, like for the listeners that don't really know your origin story, how did you guys start your musical career? Not necessarily as a band, but as an individual.
Mickey hit me.
Two times. Bam, bam.
Go ahead.
I started way back, right, in grade school, actually, with Faisal. No, so I knew Faiz maybe like we grew up together, right? We went to the same school, Southridge actually, and my dad as well. He would play guitar. He'd show me some songs from like Simon Garfunkel, my grandpa with the Sinatra, Matt Monroe, and my cousin JR with the OPM and like other music like Rage Against the Machine. So these guys showed me the music growing up. I would go to Faisal's house, Faisal's cousin's house actually with Faiz, and we'd rehearse there, just the two of us when we were like grade 4 or something. And his cousin kasi had a studio. Like he comes from a family, a musical family. Talaga. His mom sings. They actually had a band back in the day. So and his cousin had like a studio in his house, and I would actually be on the guitar. I remember my dad bought me this black rockstar guitar from Laser.
Cool.
And yeah, and we would just get on. We would get on that, and we jam in his cousin's
Grade
house.
4. Wow.
Yeah. And he came in. His cousins would watch us jam and cheer us on actually. And then I remember performing in the PQF. So the PQF is like the parents' quarterly forum, right?
Okay.
And I was actually told after that performance, like the next day, my classmate told me like, "Yo, my mom like said to tell you to stop singing and just play
I remember
guitar."
your road, you know.
So
Okay.
that kind of like pushed me to. I was like, I mean, I was young, pa, diba? But I was really hurt, man. I was like, shucks, no, I really want to get on this. So I stopped singing for a while. Clau actually sang for us. He was
Mhm.
our singer for some time.
He's
I was
got
just playing the
pipes.
guitar. Yeah, he's got pipes, man.
Mhm.
And like I was singing backup lang, but I never really stopped singing because I couldn't accept it. I couldn't accept that I
Did you like treat
wasn't
it as like a chip on your shoulder to kind of improve more?
kinda. I mean, I started getting into like really like Green Day, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
different kind of music. Parang nilabas ko yung pagka rebellious ewan.
Oo, uso din
Uh,
naman na emo days.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I just kept at it really. Yeah, so I mean, that's where it started. But yeah, moving forward, Juno and I we met, and Faisal and I were still like playing together in a band actually, and then Juno joined us, and this was Asylum. This was like our screamo
Oh
type of
shit.
Yeah.
You
band,
guys were
bro.
screamo pala before.
Yeah, before all of this, we were
First year high
screamo.
school, I think.
Damn.
So like, yun, I mean, that was first year to maybe what, second year lang naman, no? Junes, I don't know. First year lang siguro. Grade 7.
I think up to second year. But go on. Sorry.
Yeah, so yun. Tapos, I actually did some things with Viva before. Performed in some really dingy, parang tranny club bar.
Okay.
Yeah. So there would be like variety shows, and parang I would be one of the performers there. I'd perform with someone with an upright bass
Cool.
and someone with the keyboard, and I was like the youngest guy there. And yeah, I remember doing those shows in Timog, and it's like an intro to really performing in front of like random people talaga. So yeah, I was singing a lot of like Sinatra stuff already by then. Because my grandpa really had a big influence with my singing. He showed me this, like I said, no, this kind of music, which I fell in love with deeply, and still keep it till today. Like I guess if you listen to some of the songs, I still go with a crooning type of sound, like when I sing.
Mhm.
Yeah. There, that's just a little bit about how I started out, man.
Yeah. And it's crazy how you went from like screamo all the way to crueling because it's like a totally different like set of vocal muscles that you're using. Like
Yeah.
screamo is like it's screamo. It's pretty like like taxing on the throat, and then meanwhile like crueling is like there's a little bit more flow to it, and it was really cool actually to see some of your stories when you played with like a UP orchestra and then playing some
Oh wow,
Frank
yeah.
songs. Dude, that was great, man. Like you gotta post more of that stuff if you still got them
Yeah,
files.
I'm hoping that I can actually do some more work with them later on. No? But yeah, it's always been a goal is to be able to sing with like a 20-piece jazz band, and I was able to do that in my parents' silver anniversary. June's, you were there, I believe, and
Yeah,
like
no. Wouldn't have missed it for the world. Thank God I didn't.
yeah,
Mickey just came up, decked out in suit,
white.
Yeah.
fronting an orchestra, and just
Dapper
yeah, he
as
just
usual.
Mickey just did Mickey,
But what about you, Junes? How did you start your musical career?
Well, it is very much guitar oriented, but before I do get into that, uh, I didn't know that you played because I'm seeing a couple of guitars in the back.
You serious?
Bro, it's just for show.
Well,
Actually, it's
those
my
are cool
brother.
guitars, no?
Yeah,
Full.
Right.
I can beatbox. No, but, but yeah, it's my brother that actually plays the guitar. I actually played the bass for a bit growing up. So as a kid, we were both kind of forced to play the violin. And my brother,
cool.
yeah, my brother was the one who was like naturally gifted. It's actually even my sister's pretty musically gifted. She plays the piano naman. It was me that always kind of struggled in my own way. And I did, I was able to get through a couple of Suzuki volume books for the violin, but
Right. That's a lot, man. Violin is like supposedly the hardest instrument.
Yeah, it was
Supposedly.
tough. It was tough. It
Yeah,
was
no,
tough.
for sure.
But yeah, after violin, I kind of transitioned into bass. So I was playing a bit of bass, like especially during the Fall Out Boy era, Panic at the
Cool.
Disco,
Yeah.
like playing a lot of bass for that. But unfortunately, I stopped for one reason or another. Maybe sports and
Yeah.
like high school started, like the workload got a little bit worse. But yeah, I wish I really kept it up because bass, like that's a thing for me with bass. That's why I guess I haven't been playing as often. It's because unless you're really fucking good, like Arvin good, it's kind of tough to like create your own music, like be a solo instrument. Because it's like, I mean, I don't know. Personally, I found it kind of difficult to play by myself because it was always like the rhythm lang was not the rhythm. I don't know. Correct me on my terminology.
I know what you mean though. I know what
Yeah.
you mean. Like it's because it is more often than not. Although there are players that play it more melodically, but I understand what you mean. Like it's more of a it's more often than not used as to serve the rhythm section as
Yeah.
opposed to being a lead like melodist or something.
Yeah, it's like more
I
of
know
a
what you mean. I know what you mean.
complementary like instrument. So I got kind of bored of that, but like yeah, I wish I continued like you guys. I mean, just stuck through it, and I mean, look where you guys are today.
Never
so,
too late, man.
Yeah,
Never too late.
Facts. But yeah, Junoy, why don't you share a bit of your story of how you turned into a shredding god?
Yes.
Oh well, thank you. I it was actually very very simple. Like I was having my dad and I attended a wake one time. I was 12, and after the wake, you have to make a pag.
Mhm.
We ate in North Park in Bob, like in that area in Makati.
Yeah,
Ave, I
Makati
think.
Ave, yeah.
Makati
The
Ave, yeah,
OG,
North
like
Park.
North Park,
And
yeah.
literally across this was like midnight. There was a seller who would like, and to this day, probably not the same guy, maybe not, but he walks around with like 5 or 6 of these like handmade guitars, and like they're like wood, like they're, I mean, very very cheap, like homemade guitars. And my dad like looked over and he was like, "Hey, do you want me to buy one?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so we crossed the street. And then he was like, "How much?" And he was like, 1,000 lang. Then my dad was like, mahal. Like,
Yeah.
like at the
Tawad
time,
giving.
like because but then super gets like looking back, like man, that must have been hard to make. So that was my guitar for a while, and I kind of just stuck with it. Like I was one of the because so not long. I started at like Xavier. I was studying in Xavier, and it was normal to spend time in the corridors playing guitar. Like guitar is the most common instrument, right? Like like when you go to school, high school, like one in like 6 or 7 people have a guitar strap, or like it's a very common instrument. So it's like that in Xavier, and even when I went to Isabel, it's a very very common thing. So I kind of just stuck to it a little bit. When I around first year, as Miggy was mentioning, I was introduced to Miggy. We had a short jam, and the chemistry was strong. It still is, if not just stronger now. And they had a band already, which was Asylum. And I think for one reason or another, their guitarist had to leave. So they're like, "Hey, come join us, or that just be our lead there with some other fantastic musicians." So it was Clark Cruz, Mark Enriquez, Fi on the drums, Miggy on the vocals, and myself. And it was really fun. It was like 2 years before it was a good 2 years, and then I had to leave for New Zealand for a bit. Then I started experimenting with other music stuff. I got really heavy into DJing. While I was in New Zealand, that's when I really started DJing and bought my first like little controller. Until now, I still love it so much. I came back, and we actually had like a few Asylum reunion gigs. Went our own way. I actually stopped playing for a while because I did DJing like full time.
Yeah.
Not even full time, but like I was doing it weekly, just to make some money while I was in college. And then halfway through college, I think I saw, which is really cool because Clark Cruz was in that band in Asylum. I saw him playing in this bar in BF, and he was doing Hendrix, he was doing John Mayer, he was doing Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I was like, it wasn't even this like, hey, I can do that. It's like oh my god, I have to learn how to do that. I get it now. I understand blues. That was the first time I was really like, oh my god, I get it. This was 2015. And then so I just, actually stopped hanging out with people for a little bit because I was like, I have to catch up. I have to like learn. And then I met Paul Marnie, who plays with the Blue Rascals, Paul Marnie Music, a couple other projects. He's my mentor. He's, to this day, one of my, biggest influences as a player. I'd go to Roadhouse every Friday. He'd let me sit in every third set, and just school me every Friday. no mercy. Like he's warm as hell. Third set in, I'm there, a couple of drinks in, fingers literally, like physically and like, literally and figuratively cold, right? And so I'd get schooled every Friday. And that's where I really learned. Like it was because I'm failing in front of an audience once a week. You know what I mean? Like not even failing by my standards, but like in general. Like I've had some friends who were like, "Man, you're really hanging on." Like and I took it well. Like I'd feel bad, but I was like, I need this. So I'd have him every Friday. I had a friend, Miguel Santiago's Tito, Jun Castañeda, shout out. He was like my jazz mentor. So every Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on the week, I'd meet with them here in Alabang Incognito. So every Tuesday or Wednesday, it would be like this jazz training. He'd let me sit in third set every Friday with Paul, third set. So that's what I was kind of like building towards. And then I saw Fi in the gym one time, and he was like, "Hey man, we should start jamming again. Like, it's been so long. I just started drumming again," because he was drumming for Ateneo, for what was that org again?
Yeah,
Ateneo had a music org. Ateneo,
musical thing they
I forget what it's called. Oh my god, it slips my mind at the moment. But he just started drumming again, and I was like, okay, let's try it out.
And he was still a beast.
He was still good, no, for sure. There's no question, because Fi was like one of those prodigy kids. He'll probably get mad at me for saying this, but if you look up his early videos on YouTube, he was like the prodigy, like 12, 13 years old, like just like going ham on the drums.
Oh, really?
And he was that guy, and he's always a student. He's always trying to get better, always trying to get better. And so when we met up, he was still a little bit more into like the heavier stuff. I was very much into the blues stuff, and Miggy was into like everything in between. Some of the heavy, some of the blues, some of the jazz stuff. But then we had one session together as a band, like as a trio, like kind of the only thing that Miggy had in the bank. Miggy was playing bass, and the only thing that he had in the bank was Runaway Man. Yeah. So we're like, okay, let's try this out. This is Miggy goes, this is the riff. Dun, 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 dun. So okay, we'll do that. The Fi comes in, and then like, I remember leaving the session and calling up Lizzie, my girlfriend. I was like, there's something in the water, like in that house. Like because, having been with them in a band before, and then have like going through my own journey, I was kind of looking for a band again. And how funny is it that like I did have to look so far, as it was almost the exact same band as it was before everything stopped anyway. So it's just kind of this full circle thing, but everyone's taste was more was starting to mature. I wouldn't say we're super mature, or was super mature at the time, but like it was starting to mature. It wasn't all just like heavy stuff. It wasn't too much of one thing.
And that's what's nice, how you guys got some time off. Like you guys had your prior band Asylum, and then you guys kind of all got to experiment in different types of music, different tastes, and then like you said, it comes back full circle. And you guys could get back together and start applying your different influences. And so I don't know if I heard you correct, but Runaway Man was the first song that you guys had, like,
kind of, right? If I'm not mistaken, yeah,
that's the first one.
Damn. And so like you guys started off with just like I mentioned earlier, chill sessions in Klaus' house and stuff. But like, how did you guys form BSN? Because for the listeners that don't know, we already mentioned Fi Tabasala. If you could check out shout out to Fi. You could check out his drum rolls on
the man.
He's a man. Like when you like search him right now on Instagram, see like his Instagram, it's like, that's a
Flow
man.
Drummer Fi.
That's a man's man.
The Flow Drummer Fi.
Yeah. And if you want to like get into fitness, he does like a lot of different types of training programs too, whether it's mostly revolved around functional training, But
Yeah.
yeah, and then there's Jai, who's my teammate, but like he's on the same organization as I am and for the future. So he's
Right.
been like living it up in Siargao. And of
Yes, he
course, you
has.
can't leave out
Catch up
Arvin too,
with
who's currently in Canada. So shout out to Arvin as well.
Yeah. What's up,
But
Arv?
how did you like all you five members like come together and start what basically Saturday night is now?
Well, I mean, there's probably two sides to it. I don't know, because from my point of view, my perspective, my point of view, my take on it is, it's Junoy and I. We actually never really lost touch. Like
Yeah.
we hung out that one time. Good friends of ours. I was still playing baseball at the time. Actually,
Mhm.
I'm in ACC a lot with Louis Park and Andre Palacios. And I remember they invited me like, yo, like I know you sing like, because at the time I was singing like Bruno Mars, AJ Raphael. That was the time.
2010.
Yeah,
Around
that
about
was
2010.
Damn.
around
Yeah.
that time. So I was like, yeah, we used to jam a lot. And then he Tui Park and they were like, yo, you have to meet this guy. He's a really great guitarist and good friend of ours. So we walked from ACC to Junoy's house. And
Lapit lang.
yeah, lapit lang. And I think June's at the time you were still kind of like kalbo pa or kalbo.
I might have been. Yes.
And like, yeah, we were by the poolside and Juno had like a guitar. And I was like, yo, let's jam. So we jammed and we just kicked it off, man. And
Yeah.
we just stuck together as friends throughout the journey. And like he went to New Zealand and everything. We would call each other like on
Yeah.
Skype. Para. We would call
Yeah,
each other on
OG.
Skype and we would just
When-
catch up and talk. And like we just never lost touch. It was a good connection. It wasn't just like a musical connection. It was also a really, really good, genuine friendship.
Mhm.
Like
Absolutely.
we had like a good connection toward each other as well. And like yeah, so we really spent so many like nights just talking about music, learning more about like his favorite like type of sound and my favorite type of sound. And we would drive around the village just listening to music for hours. And it would be such a cool trip, man. And yeah, we would go back to his room like maybe like 2 a.m. And like there's this one time he just played like this.
Actually, no, Miggy played that. It was like this is I just want to like just a little fun fact for everyone who thinks just because I'm the guitar player I write the riffs. Miggy writes a lot of the guitar riffs. Like
Wow.
Miggy wrote just for people to know, Miggy wrote the Runaway Man riff. Miggy wrote the driving riff. Yeah, I off the top of my head, he wrote the driving 1 and 2 riff.
Mhm. Okay.
And even moving forward, because Miggy is definitely the writer. Like and so he kind of set up this. It was just 2 guitars, and like I think at that time maybe we had Balance and Runaway Man
Okay.
already. I'd have trouble. Oh, SF was way before BSN though. We have a song
Oh,
called San
really?
Francisco
Way before.
that
That was
we
way before pala.
wrote like in maybe that Miggy had in maybe like 2014.
It was actually
Wow.
like a
Very
chord
old.
progression that Junoy had for
Yeah, I had that from like 2013. Like it's a really old song actually, which is kind of crazy.
Damn.
And then,
And
Road
unfortunately, you fans don't know what San Francisco is yet because
Unless
they
they
haven't
know,
really
some
released it.
people know
Yeah,
YOU,
Gentlemanios.
or some people know the trade secrets. But yeah, that's one of the older ones. So we had those in the bank, and then we just had 2 guitars, and like it was so funny because Miggy laid down this groove. To like obviously there were no drums, so it was just and we were literally playing that same riff, and I was playing like a lead over it for like 2 hours straight. No
Damn.
lyrics. We were just like, damn, this feels really good.
Yeah,
And because it kind of had like, especially when we were writing it initially, it had that like sort of whitest boy feel a little
Yes,
bit. Like
definitely.
if you know, like it kind of had that whitest boy live vibe, especially when we were setting it up. No, but yeah, so like we
How
had
did-
these songs
yeah.
already. No
Okay.
definite keyboard player, no definite bassist, right?
Mhm.
It was Mickey. You might want to tell the story about how like Arvin came in. Like,
Yeah, I think that's a pretty interesting story,
Like no,
actually.
like we were like I know, like I said, no, Juna and I never really lost touch. We really hang out almost every night, just trying to come up with music and just jam. Actually,
yeah,
like
we were obviously looking for something
dude,
all
there
like
was
together.
this point. There was this point where June was like, "Dude, I'm gonna give up the guitar. I'm just gonna DJ." Do you remember that? I was
Yeah,
like,
of course.
"You're crazy. You're crazy." And the guitar, look at him. He's like a god, man. Like, gee.
Good thing you talked him out of it, man.
No, man, that was
Thank
his
you.
decision. I was just there, man, honestly. And like, we went to this jazz joint here.
Yeah, there, that jazz bar. The
Go
one
ahead.
where I would no, that's same. I was just gonna say that that's the same jazz bar with Miguel's Tito.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so no,
It's all
I
connected.
love because Mickey, you're the one. Yes, it's all connected.
It's all connected.
It's a heavy spoilers line. It's so
Yes,
connected.
heavy spoilers. I love heavy
spoilers.
spoilers.
Shout out
dude.
to heavy spoilers. Dude.
So, like,
My goodness, but
Junoy-
Migs, because you're the one who set it up, so I'd love to hear it from you.
yeah, no, because like Junoy he'd go there a lot. He'd play with Tito of Tito Jun, right?
Yeah,
And
Tito Junjun.
even
Shout
Brenner's dad.
And Branner's dad also. We would play together very regularly.
Yeah. And so he invited me one time to check out the show, right? I mean, it was somewhere here in Alabang too. So
Yeah,
we
very
came
close
over,
by.
I came by, and like there was a trio. Was that a trio, Junes?
Yes.
Four.
Yeah. No, sorry, they were four.
Four.
I think they
okay.
were called Foreplay. One of those like jazz band names.
Okay.
Foreplay. It's usually foreplay or three play. Like you know,
Yeah.
like one of, I think it was foreplay with Sir Carlo on piano, Arvin on bass.
Arvin was bass man. And
Yeah,
I
and then how did you
remember
pirate him?
like
We just jacked him.
like when you have a little bit to drink, you get a little bit confident, and I'm just like, I'm gonna sing right now, dude.
Made him an offer he can't refuse.
Yeah, no, and Jun and I already knew the guys, no? So
Okay.
parang he was playing na rin. So I kind of wanted to jam a little bit, like just to see ba, if I could play with the big boys, you know what I mean? And because dude, honestly, those guys read like music, and that's like another level, bro.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So yeah, basically, I was game to do. I think that was "Fly Me to the Moon." Was it?
Could have been. Could have been.
Yeah, like very
Arvin was on an
simple.
upright. Dum, dum, dum,
Yeah.
dum, 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 dum,
And
Damn.
bang, next thing you know, like after that performance, they wanted more. So we did more songs, and then after that whole set, um, we spoke to Arabs. And I was like, hey man, like just shoot your shot, right?
Mhm.
Like we actually have like a jam session in Alabang if you want to come by sometime. The Junes, we invited him.
Actually, you know what? I don't know if I was there, man. I don't know if I was there when you invited him. Because there would be times we'd go together, but if I'm not mistaken, I mean, this is like we're talking like maybe 4 years ago,
Mhm.
5 years ago,
5 years
4 years
ago,
ago.
Maybe, yeah.
So like it's a lot of stuff has happened, but there were times we go together and times I think that was one of the times, if I'm not mistaken, that Miggy went on your own, maybe, and
I was courting Arvin.
yeah, he was hitting on Arvin.
Making a little lande here and there.
Yeah, sakto lang, you know. And
Hindi
we
naman
were
desperate.
we were already doing, it was like this unspoken
Yeah.
thing where, okay, let's meet on Saturday. People come, like friends would come and friends would just drink and hang out. And it wouldn't necessarily be the same people on the instruments. There would be times it was Jai on the piano. There would be times it was Mikhail Alafriz on the piano.
Yeah.
There were times that it was Mabs on the piano.
Oh, wow.
I think. Yeah, there were Mabs.
Shout out to
We were
Mabs.
just like, shout out to my brother
And
Mabs.
he ended up buying the piano.
He bought the piano actually.
Damn.
Either I'm not sure if he actually played that time, or I just know that he bought it and he used to come. And like friends would come and really just hang out and like throw out like, hey, can you guys play this? Like not no one making Hammond, but like, hey, what if you guys try this? And then if it's cool, then yes. If it's not, then we'll never do it again. But it was just this Saturday thing. And Miggy invited Arvin. And like I remember him like huddling us like, yo, I invited this guy. And I was like, oh shit, you did? Like he's really good. Blah, blah, blah. And so we were all kind of nervous. We tried to play it out, but he ended up enjoying it very much.
Yeah.
I think because just
Camaraderie
Vice,
also.
Vice, yeah, definitely that, and like that setup in Vice, like it's a very homey. It's a studio setup, but it's very homey. And Vice vibe, Mickey's vibe, generally it's just very welcoming.
I'm sure that the run played an effect as well.
The run very much so. I would say. I feel like there's some kind of like MSG, something that made Arvin say, I gotta go back. Whatever it was, there was, for some reason, we managed to win over Arvin.
Yeah.
Because he was leagues ahead of us, and he still is.
Seriously.
You know, like he's always been playing with bigger jazz bands. He's the type to sight read, the type to go to a gig, not know the piece. The musical director, the MD, will put a sheet in front of him. Okay, play this. 1, 2, 3. Go count the song in, and then game. Never heard the song before, but you just have to read it and know it by heart by reading it. So Arv's the type. He's like that. Adjust his glasses. Keep going. Adjust his glass. That type. Like he's just the most like zoned, hardworking musician.
That's right.
But for some reason, we got to swoon him into being part. And Jai was already sitting in. Like he actually had this. We didn't have a keyboard, so I'd bring this. And this little keyboard that I have in front of me. He would use that at first, and then he wanted to like get more serious with it. And so he bought his own keyboard. And then that eventually went to Mabs. He bought I forget, I don't know the sequence of his keyboard, but I know as he started to get more invested, he started to invest in the gear also.
Yeah, that's right.
So it became us sort of writing songs together. Yeah, that's really just the kind of the origin of it. It was this thing that happened every Saturday that started to build, that was very free flowing at first, but then started to structure itself without anybody really planning for it. There were some songs that were already written, like Runaway Man. Eventually Balance came, which in part was written by Louis Clavano. Shout out to Louis Clavano.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were there. He was there. He was drinking, and he was like, "What if you guys hit that?" Then you do a bump. Like it was me. It was Louis. He was like, "What if you do a bump?" Because he's a drummer also, and that's how he worded it.
Percussion.
Like, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Okay, let's do that. And yeah, so like it was. There would be a lot of times that like certain parts of songs would be the result of somebody who was hanging out there that day that kind of like say, hey, what if you try this? What if this part you go into, you know, and go into a halftime? Like I remember the first time we had that driving one when Miggy and I, as I was saying, when Miggy and I had that groove, we were like, okay, we gotta write songs. Like we gotta write lyrics. Like you write a verse, I'll write a verse. Let's meet with the band on Saturday. And we brought it, and then I was like, okay, this is a kind of cool vibe, but it stays in one position. Like Arvin, we need your expertise. And Arvin was like, okay, what if we go a bridge where we go into a halftime? He just had that little taste of his personality in that song, which is to go halftime a little bit. But yeah, it was a very, very organic thing, actually.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it so beautiful.
Planned, nothing. Yeah,
like how it was like a collaborative effort, and even though you guys have like your 5 members of the band, it was like there's so many other names that we shouted out to that, you know, were a huge influence in the creation of your band. And it's just so nice to see how you guys progress, because I like I'm gonna mention it over and over again. That first night, actually, what really got me to like believe like in you guys particular was when you guys did like a cover of I think it was Soul Sacrifice by Santana. That was really, 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 really sick. And Gravity.
Could you remind me where we played that?
That was in Klaus place in the upstairs. Like right, you know, it was like you guys would set up like a drum thing there, and it was just like one of those Saturday nights. And like when you guys played Soul Sacrifice, I was just like, what the fuck? These guys like it was crazy. And I love how what's the song I'm thinking about? I think Runaway Man probably like it really reminds me of Soul Sacrifice, especially in the bridge when like you guys are just like jamming out like in your own instruments. It's really awesome, and it's so nice to see that you guys have grown, because like I mean now you guys have like I'm looking now at your Spotify. I don't memorize it. I'm sorry, but like 4.5k listeners a month, and then El Poder has like close to 400k streams, dude. That's like nothing to be taken lightly, and it's so nice that you know how you guys grew organically, and you know this. I think it's really only upwards from here, and you know everybody that knows you knows that you guys create great music, but what they might not know is that you two are the writers behind most of the lyrics. And I think the lyrics are, I wouldn't say underrated because I think everybody knows it's great too. But personally, I love how you guys write your songs. So right after the break, we will be dissecting, some of the lyrics that might need a little bit more contact.
Ano ang sa inyo? Natamimi kayo, ano?
But context. But first, Pstoy, you, yeah, you, the one there making your morning coffee or getting your daily exercise in. Don't you think that it's time for that new French press or a new set of workout clothes? Don't you feel like you deserve something fresh, something exciting? Because I sure do. So why don't you hop onto Shopee to avail of the non-stop sales that have been going on for as long as One Ponce Enrile has been alive, which is a really long time. Everything from coffee paraphernalia to home workout equipment.
We've got it all for you.
And the best part is, I was lucky enough to partner up with Shopee to keep you updated with all of the hottest sales. But wait. Before you skip this ad, let me be real with y'all. As you know, I'm a broke full-time vet student and I do this podcast to keep you, my friends and family, informed about the hot topics here in the PH and the industry leaders involved with them. The main reason I started this podcast was to educate and entertain people, and I hope you're learning something new in this episode. So if you enjoy this podcast, it would mean the world to me if you use my Shopee link to keep these episodes coming. All you have to do is to check the description down below or the tap link in my bio to access my personal link. If you're anyone like me, you've probably got tons of items in your cart. So go to Shopee, treat yourself with something new, and support this podcast. Like the beautiful and unwithering Chris Aquino once said, "Shop na!" As you heard in the first segment, the band naturally gravitated towards one another and ended up having a seamless fit together. They've constantly been putting out bangers left and right, from Chemical Love to El Poder, each having a distinct sound that only they could replicate. Not only do they own their sound, but also their unique songwriting, one that blends relatable emotions such as insecurity, creativity, and even depression. In the second half of the show, I asked the songwriters of BSN to break down their famous lines, creative process for writing, and even get some breaking news for this promising young band. Alright, and we back. So to kick off the second segment of this show, we're gonna move on to this little segment I like to call Explain That Line. So for any of the music lovers out there, I'm pretty sure that you've seen some genius videos of popular artists kind of breaking down some of the lines of their song, if not the whole song. So kind of just wanted to emulate that as well here because, like I mentioned in the first half of the show, I really love your lyrics and, I love how, how deep a lot of the lines are. And I'm pretty sure that there are some other significant meanings towards some of these lines that we need a little bit more context with. So for the first line that I want to kind of dissect comes from one of the first songs that I heard. And like you mentioned, one of the first songs that you guys also created, which is What's That Driving Song, Part 1. So Junoy, this is your line. And I wanted to just get a little bit more context on it. So in your part, you sang, "In the larger scheme of things, I seldom react. I wait for what the story brings because my demons are back." So how did you write this, if you wrote it, and what does it mean?
Actually, the whole verse is very reflective. The way that I was writing lyrics at the time was very this insular, just kind of reflecting on the way I understood my life at the time. In the largest scheme of things, I'm the type of person, in the grand scope of things, I'm trying to do big things, but I'm just this small guy who does my own thing. I'll seldom react. And there's this really cool thing. My friend Chuki actually drew this on a shell that he found. It says, in the largest scheme of things. And then on the back it says, I seldom react.
That's
really,
great.
Really, really cool. And yeah, no, it was sort of these the idea of at the time having these inner demons and the joy of the youthful energy where you can kind of embrace that idea almost, because we were so new and so young as the band that we were letting out these positive and negative emotions in a way that wasn't destructive. We would acknowledge our inner demons, but I would let it out through a solo, or I would let it out. For me being a quiet guy who tries not to react to anything because I'm very, or especially more at the time, a very, very meek personality, but will embrace the idea of inner demons through something that is constructive, through something that is more musical. So it was that reflective thing at the time. And yeah, so definitely shout out to Chuki for this nice little, like, I have this along with some of Mickey's gifts to me, just hanging up here in my room. Yeah, that's kind of what that line is.
That's awesome. And, it's a little bit of a reflective thing, because I'm pretty sure, especially in today's day and age where everything's so instant, and like we're so
Absolutely.
reactive. Like we pick up our phone and don't even realize that next thing you know, we've been on Instagram for like 30 minutes. So it's
True.
like, it's cool that,
So true.
yeah, and it's relatable also on so many levels. So for the next line, it's on one of your latest singles that you guys released, Lightning Strikes. And this is Miggy's line because he does the vocals in this song. But the line reads, "Oh, you let your thoughts run wild to where the lightning strikes." So very kind of abstract. I don't like, it's up to interpretation for me, but like maybe like what was the thought process on creating this line in particular?
Well, yeah. At the time when I was really writing that, medyo maggulo yung isip ko eh.
Mm.
So I would really parang I focus on a lot of escapism when I write. I like to I think and talk about how I can get out of this space, how I can get out of this space so that I'm able to be in this parang in this place, and that place is where the lightning strikes. That's where the ideas are. That's where the place that I want to be in. So parang I let my thoughts, like, it's quite literal in the sense that I let my thoughts run wild talaga, to where the lightning strikes, because parang all of these thoughts, all of these emotions basically lead me to that place, and that place is where I feel like my best, at my where I feel safest also. So yeah, it's very simple. It's just that it's quite abstract. Yeah, I just made sure na it fit also with the song. Yun, because with me, I really do believe that the melody and the lyrics, they really have to complement each other. It's like
Right.
it's like a marriage, if anything. Parang yun nga, they must complement each other. So I was writing this as a poem, Lightning Strikes. Save it for tomorrow, there'll be clear skies, right? Basically it's a man feeling really down, like, just save it for tomorrow. It'll be better then. So that line, basically, like, you let your thoughts run wild to where the lightning strikes, is basically like, sige, you do whatever it takes to get to that place. And basically where the lightning strikes is that place where I really want to be. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
That's so. I didn't even know
sense.
that. And I've played that song many times, like too many times. Like I don't even know that. That's so cool.
And it got nominated
interesting.
recently. Solid.
It did. We just
Oh,
got
really?
nominated for that song.
Nice.
As under Out Awards. I think the jazz category again.
Interesting. Okay, for what award? Like, I mean, what was it
Out
nominated
Awards. It's
Out
Out Awards. Best jazz recording, I think.
Yeah.
Best jazz recording.
Damn.
I don't want to sound like a guy who doesn't know what he got nominated for. So I'm like 99% sure it was the Out Awards Best Jazz Recording.
Well, when you get nominated for too many things, you kind of get
I-
No,
it.
it's actually not the case, but I'll take it. Thank you.
Of course. All right. So for the last line that we are going to dissect tonight, it's from your most popular song, El Poder. And the line reads, "I know for a fact that you held the act of learning how to die." So pretty deep. Maybe get a little bit more context on this line.
Yeah, actually, it sometimes it becomes, and I know for a fact that you have the act of learning how to die. So parang to me, it's a little bit like, um, let's say na lang, I like to talk about characters in my songs even at
Mm-hmm.
time. And this character basically, parang he has a friend who he talks to a lot about, all of this suicidal, parang ideas he has. So it to his friend, it's kind of like an act, no? So parang it's hard to understand na bakit ka ganito? Like bakit ba? Parang you're such a, to me, at least it's like, um why do you want to get rid of yourself, or why do you want to leave your life? Because parang it's such a good life, no? And basically, it's from the perspective of a friend who's saying like, and I know for a fact that you have the act of learning how to die. So it's like learning how to die basically is like being close to pulling a trigger towards being suicidal. It's kind of deep and dark,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, there's a lot of people who go through that,
Mm-hmm.
who go through suicide, and it's never a joke, and it's a very very serious topic. No, um, I know some people who have gone through this and, made it through. I know some people who, unfortunately, you know, didn't, and basically it shouldn't have found its way to El Poder or anything, but it was at the time where, um, there were a lot of these things going on, and I just wanted to find a way to, write about it in some way where it wasn't too obvious. Ba?
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to hide it in between some lines. So learning how to die is basically like pursuing, suicide. Shucks. Medyo deep. I don't know
Medyo
if you
deep, but
want
no,
to.
but I think it's important also to talk about it because it is a reality. People go through these things, and I think if anything, it's good actually that you wrote about it because it is a topic that should be talked about. And if anybody,
Absolutely.
this is not any therapist advice. If you are feeling any of these emotions, you should definitely go consult a professional about it, or at least your family members about it. But
Yeah.
it's good that you, I mean, raise the topic because it's not something to be ashamed about. People go through these things. It's only natural as human beings that, because at the end of the day, we're all gonna die, and it's important to come to terms with that reality. And if ever you're thinking about, trying to end your life earlier, it's important to, talk to people about it and try it as much as
Absolutely.
possible not to keep it to yourself.
And
Right.
actually, the line that follows that is, yes, I'm lost in my thoughts. Yes, of course, right? But only on the inside. So it's like keeping it inside talaga.
Mm-hmm.
So that heaviness,
Mm-hmm.
it's not really a good, um, parang feeling to have siguro. Mabigat. It's nice to
Mm-hmm.
be able to open up to friends. It's nice to be able to have, people who care about you, talk to you about, I mean, be open. Because, I mean, it's not a bad thing to share these things, right? I mean, some people may be scared to open up or what, no, but that's okay. I mean, if you're ready to, then go ahead. But if not, then just know that you're not alone. That there are people who, are there, with you through your journey as well. Like, diba? So, yun lang, yun lang.
Yeah,
I just wanted to give that awareness also.
that's great, man.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. No, because
Of
that
course,
brings
man.
back a lot.
Yeah. And it's nice that you guys have been able to, express your emotions through the writing of the lyrics for your songs. And just off the top of your head, is there any song for you guys personally that, holds a lot of sentimental value to you guys?
Go ahead, Junes.
Is this like our own? Like,
No, yeah, personally, like what, like whether you wrote it or not, is there like a song that, resonates with you on a sentimental level most?
oh, that's a very good question. Um, there is something that happens on stage, and there's something that I feel with the audience when we play balance.
Mm.
There is something very soulful about it, and I feel like the way we do play it live, or the way we have played it live, I wouldn't say has changed so much over the years, but for one reason or another, it has gotten better and deeper every time we have played it. The lyrics have literally sunken into the melody a little bit more. I have a nice little opportunity to express myself also in that song, in the most honest way. I mean, like, as being the only guitar player in the band, obviously I'm fortunate enough that the rest of the guys will let me take a solo quite often. But when I'm soloing on Balance, there is something that happens where that is the closest I feel that I'm able to talk to somebody who's not on stage. Like, without even if my eyes are closed, like
having
even
a
if my eyes are
connection.
closed, there's something very, very intimate about that moment in that song, or that song as a moment. Depending on how you want to view it. So Balance for me, something that I liked in the beginning, but I continued. It really started to grow on me deeper and deeper, and now it's just this, like, every time we play it, I'm like, thank God we're playing that song. Thank God that's happening tonight. Yeah, Balance for me for sure.
That's beautiful, man. What about you, Miggy?
Dude, I was about to say Balance then, because there's a lot to it. I mean, when it was written, I was actually in Japan when I was writing the lyrics to it. I was with my brothers, I was with my family, and then I just remember there was an instance where Junoy and I, actually the whole band, we were in Faisal's. No, we were in the lab, and I was going through something at the time, and I don't know if you remember this, Junes, but
Hit me.
I remember it was your solo, and I was closing my eyes throughout that whole song, and I remember very clearly that you played that solo so beautifully that I started talking. Parang
Yeah, no, I remember that. There was
remember
this
that?
like
Yes, Jules.
cathartic spoken word response to what I was playing.
Yeah,
That yeah, and that song kind of does that
yeah.
to
Parang
us, or for
like
us in
it
a
felt
way.
like Junoy was talking to me. He was like, "You're gonna be all
I
right,
mean,
brother. You're gonna be okay. We're here." And he was playing his solo, and I was talking back, like after like while he was playing, I was like, "Yes, yes, brother, yes, thank you." Like I know, like that. But I would feel his, I don't know. It's like he was talking to me. I don't know if he was talking
yeah,
to me personally,
I
but
was. I
I
remember
felt
that very clearly. I
I
was.
felt that. I really felt that, man. And I was replying to him. Like we were talking to each other through our instruments. And it's just, yeah, I'll never forget that also. Like that's why every time Junoy plays a solo with Balance, it's like banglase.
Dude,
Like
yeah.
I'm like ready for that. Like,
I think that is my favorite song to solo over. Like, of course, like there are a lot of like songs that we cover that like I get the chance to express, but they're not our songs.
Right.
It's kind of like
like
it just doesn't feel like it's like it's driving a really nice car that you borrowed. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
you can show up to the
Slaps
event and it
different.
feels you can show up to an event where you have a really nice car, but if you rented that car or something for one reason or another, you're gonna go home thinking, well, it's actually not mine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it's like this is genuinely like the most authentic, like sort of like compared to all the other songs. I guess that's why, and I find it really cool that Migs has the same answer.
Yeah.
Because that means that I'm not alone in that sort of sentiment of that song being very, very it's like there's just something cathartic about it. It's deep, but then you kind of let out a lot as you play it, and it can also be kind of light. It's not a heavy song.
Yeah.
It's slow in tempo. It can be sweet. It's very melodic. Sometimes we extend it with this beautiful intro that Mickey does. So yeah, it's one of our I would say one of our most soulful songs so far. One of the, like sort of like this old school R&B kind of thing. Yeah, Balance,
Yeah.
man. I miss
Dude,
that.
Balance. I
Yeah.
love that song. And for me personally, na nga, like I already get what you mean by how it's so soulful. Like, when whether you're having a good day or a bad day, it just connects to your emotions
Yes.
like
Yes,
so deeply.
absolutely.
And I can only imagine, even more so for you guys, the ones that actually wrote the song and those who are playing it. So, I mean, thank you so much for sharing that, because like now
Thank you.
the next time I listen to it, like I'm gonna think of you guys, and it just like it will have so much more of a deeper meaning. So thank you for sharing about that, and
Yeah.
it's
Thank
amazing
you, man.
how you guys, yeah, were able to connect through just from playing instruments, like not even saying a single, like Junia didn't say a single word to Miggy, but Miggy knew exactly what he was saying, and that's one of the beautiful out of body experiences that you can get with music. And unfortunately, like throughout this pandemic, like you guys haven't been able, well, I mean, you guys mentioned that you guys have been seeing each other lately, but as a band, you guys haven't been able to, do your gigs, do as many practices
Right.
as you would like.
Mm.
So I wanted to ask, as my last question for the show, how has your band been able to stay connected throughout this pandemic? And a follow up to that after, which you can answer whenever you want. But what's in store for BSN's future?
June's hit me.
Um, we are very fortunate to have a very, very professional and almost older brother, father like figure, Rem, as our manager. Um,
Shout out,
who
Rambo.
has, yeah, shout out to Rem. He has been very, very meticulous about, because actually Rem described us, and I could not agree more. He described us as a band that is fueled by momentum. So if there's no momentum, if we're not actually seeing each other, which was the duration of for the duration of most of quarantine, we weren't seeing each other. So it almost felt like the band was dead. Like literally, like it almost didn't exist for a bit. We were just back to being friends who happened to have done all these things before.
Mhm.
But in his with his sentiment of us being a band that is fueled by momentum, he insisted or suggested that we have at least these weekly meetings that will allow us to like realign, kind of like just to make sure that our goals are in check. So, and really, like more than anything, Rem will take the time to make sure that everyone's doing all right. Like because of course this is professional, strictly speaking, but it is also very personal. And Rem has been very, very thoughtful with regards to that. He's been making sure that we're very much aligned.
Yeah.
And especially because just to tie into the second question, we are currently working with the lovely Nicole Asensio. We have 2 songs in the works. It's a Warner collaboration, which was assigned by Sir Kelly. So shout out to Sir Kelly from Warner Music, and then from Kwan, and from Dick License, and from
Legend.
from the legend. So Ram has been very, very particular to make sure that everything is in check.
Yeah.
So that is BSN's next move. But prior to that, it was definitely challenging because we don't do well online. There are a lot of bands who like early on would they would do these like online events where it's literally the process there inevitably is the drummer goes first, and then he'll record his track, send it to everyone else, then whoever wants to be the bass player, the guitar player, one at a time, and then somebody, a kind-hearted soul will edit everything together, mix it a little bit, make sure all the videos in sync. And Rocky, you mentioned like obviously the tedious hours put into editing a podcast, and so it's the same thing, but like trying to put together. And like to have to do that for every single song, it was just like it's very, very tedious. Not like we didn't want to do it, but of course it was tedious. And there was no actual connection. Like I can't it's hard if I'm not looking at Mickey. It's hard if I'm not like spacing out reading the brand of Faisal's drum cymbal. Like those little tiny details like of the live element like really, really helped me. So in the beginning it was challenging. Latter half of last year, we were very fortunate. We started to get back into the studio when there was a point around this time last year where stuff started to loosen up a little bit in terms of the local restrictions.
Right.
So we got to do a Rappler live, which was really, really great. if that for me, in my opinion, is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, like BSN content in terms of like Nicolette. Shout out to Nicolette. She was very, very particular about like, just the way the camera moved around the
Yeah.
band, or the way the band moved around the camera. And she's just she has an eye for those things. And that was one of the few moments where, as a band, we were able to reconnect for a gig. And it wasn't this, like, basically what's happening now is like we're on 3 separate screens, which is what you'd see from all these other bands, including ourselves, because we tried it. And it just didn't, it didn't have that same impact. So when we got to do that Raptor Live thing, it was great. And then when the restrictions got tight, it got tough. And then Rem just kind of only in the last couple of months, I would say, has been just nudging us in the right direction.
Yeah.
And we've been fortunate enough to check out Wildgrass Studios in QC, which is the most amazing studio I've ever been to.
My
Wow.
God.
I posted some photos for anyone who might have seen it. We call it the mothership because it feels like a spaceship.
Wow.
Seriously.
And it just, there's something there, man. It's kind of like what you see in the movies when you're inspired by like an artist that you see their biopic, where they go into the studio and then suddenly that's where all the magic happens. There is that feeling in that studio.
Yeah.
So that's where we recorded with Nicole.
Last thing.
And hopefully as soon as possible. Oh, sorry, just to add, prior to this, around that time that we were doing the Rapper and stuff, we were also able to have Nicole come to Faisal's lab
That's right.
Oh, awesome.
in order for us to collaborate. So that's because BSN's process is, nope, can't do it. Sorry, we have to get in a room. It
Yeah.
can't just be like, okay, you'll bounce ideas. I'll text you. I'll send you a peg. It doesn't work. Like it,
You need that human
and maybe
connection.
it should. Maybe it should. Maybe it's not smart that it doesn't work. But like, can you also force it? Probably not, right? Like
Mhm.
Genuine,
BSN started organically, so the process of everything has to be equally organic. And I can almost speak on behalf of everyone, except maybe Rem. Maybe you'd have a different idea. I'm not sure. I don't know. Rem, let me know. Text me. But yeah, like it's and luckily she attended a couple of our sessions. We were supposed to do one song, but right that we got in.
we vibe, man.
Yeah, we vibed hard.
Hard.
My goodness. I threw out this progression and turned into a song, jammed it until it was complete. And then she was like, okay, what if we try like also like this slow vibe? I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this. Let me know what you think. And that's really the way it happens. Somebody will start something. Like in this case, it was me who started. I threw in a 3-chord thing, which eventually everyone will be able to hear. 3-chord thing. Kurt, shout out to Kurt. He's our bassist now. He's been taking care of us on the low end. He comes in, just the tightest shit ever, man. And
I'm
that
so hyped.
became the second song. That became the
So
second
fucking
song. And it was just like that for me, like that is the wow. Yeah, it's all very organic. And that stuff can't happen in a Zoom meeting.
Mhm.
That stuff can't happen in a setting where I will go first and then I'll go next. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And so
It's a great experience.
the only, aside from the meetings, which Rem was very, very insistent on setting up, which we're so lucky. But aside from that, the only way that we have reconnected really is in those times that the restrictions were kind of lower and we were able to actually get together as brothers, as friends. And thankfully, those limited instances were more than enough to create several new songs. Like, because there's this like, oh fuck, I gotta get this out.
Yeah.
There's this like, oh, I gotta do this. I only have a day. Like, I only have one day to do it. I might as well, show them everything. Yeah, that's my take. Mickey, what say you, buddy? What say you?
Yeah. I mean, we like what Junoy said. No, we've been doing the most as we can actually with what's given, like what's presented, which is we're in a lockdown. We're still, I mean, I still count this because I mean not everybody is vaccinated yet, and
Mhm.
it's like some people have older, like folks living with them, so It's never really 100%. But yeah, honestly, that's how BSN is talaga. I mean, the Rem, that's right. Call Junoy, not me na lang. Like, like if you think that no, if you think that parang we should just come out like that. It doesn't just happen like that. We really have to
No, Rem
have
knows. Rem
fun.
knows us so well that he, even if he tries, like he knows also what the band is good at and what we're not good at, right? You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
And like connection is really important. Like straight up, I was never really, I've never really collaborated with someone on the vocals. Um, but Nicole was like super good vibes, and she's like she's been in the industry for a while,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
she's
like
a pro.
I
She's a
learned
savage,
so
actually.
much,
Yeah,
man. I
savage
learned
is a good way to
so
put it.
much.
Because her and her mom are both like savage on the
Yeah,
vocals.
yeah. Shout out to Nicole, who just got nominated for 8 Awit Awards.
Eight.
Wow.
Holy Christ.
Holy.
Well deserved, though.
Yeah, dude, she works
Like,
hard, man.
she works so hard. I
Seriously.
learned a lot about work ethic from her.
Yeah. Like she probably has like hundreds of songs that haven't been recorded or released yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, with that collaboration, I'm really excited for how everybody is gonna take that. Because honestly, these songs are really good. I think they're really good, and it's been a while since. Actually, it's never happened. Yeah, we've never really collaborated with anyone in that caliber, especially.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, looking forward to all of these upcoming things. Like we were able to write some songs actually during the quarantine.
Yeah.
And we're still working on it. We're still working on a lot of it. Hopefully we release some soon. No, that will really depend on. Siyempre, we're trying to follow this timeline that we have, and we don't want to have you guys wait too long. Also,
Yeah.
the Boogie crew, we want you to you know be excited for this, and I'm sure you guys are gonna enjoy this because there's a lot that's put into this. It's not just like the time or whatever. It's really like the whole package, the roller coaster ride that BSN's gone through, the ups and downs and the highs and the lows, and you guys being there with us throughout this whole journey was written down and put into music. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear this. I'm sure June's is as well, and yeah, the whole band.
100%.
Dude,
Yeah.
as a fan, I'm so hyped, man. It's been so long since I last heard you guys play, last heard new music. Because I mean, your latest release was Lightning Strikes and Driving 2, which came out like pretty much about a year ago now. So
Right.
like haven't heard new music in a while. So what everyone's dying to know, is it going to be an album, or are we talking singles, another EP, or are your mouth shut on that?
Are we legally allowed to talk?
No, I think it's safe to talk about
I think we could talk about it, right? Well, what is it, Junes? Are we releasing a couple of things first before the?
I mean, I obviously I don't want to say anything that I might get kicked in the butt for. But for Nicole, we have 2 singles coming up that I'm super duper excited about. I'm not one to toot the band horn, but I'll toot it hard. Like I really, really like these songs.
Yeah.
They're just like Nicole came in and she's just added this shine, which
Yeah.
is really, really cool. With her experience. She has that shine, obviously. But moving forward, I think we were planning to put out an album pre-COVID. That was the main focus.
Yeah.
Just to be transparent with a lot of people, that was the main focus. Like it was a weekly thing. Like if on my end, on Miggy's end, on Fi's end, if we were not gigging, we were with our friend Mikkel
Yeah.
Miller, and we were just recording. Mikkel is the producer who helped us with Moondogs, Lightning Strikes, Driving 2. I was in his studio a couple times a week, just trying to iron stuff out. But yeah, there are like that we had this idea of an album which was supposed to be the main agenda pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And certain things changed. I would say like I think when you're separated that long, number one, if you can't go to the studio, then obviously that has halted the ability your ability to record or anything like that. But then you start to reflect also. It's like, well, okay, should this song really be on the album? Should we have another one? Should we?
Yeah.
So
Is it
um
ready? Like,
is it ready? Yeah, is it ready? Or should, like, a lot of it is sort of the production aspect of it also, which definitely took its time. There are some songs that are ready.
we really don't want to have
Um,
that, man. Like,
yeah,
if we're gonna release something, it's because we know that this is good, and this is what should be put out.
Yeah.
but the
And-
short answer is a full length.
Yeah.
It will be an
Nice.
album.
All right. So
BSN will deliver an album.
nice. That's wonderful.
We
So
we owe it to ourselves. We
Mhm.
owe it to everyone who has waited so long.
Yes.
including me.
Yeah, there. And I need it. We need it. Everyone else need, like,
I think
people who have waited, they need it, but like, we need it. We owe it to ourselves to, it's something that you have to do, and that we want to do so that we can move on. It because otherwise it's this roadblock that will keep you from the growth.
Yeah.
And of course, the roadblock within that roadblock is the pandemic. So
Mhm.
that has slowed everything down. So,
Mhm.
but it'll be an album.
Nice.
We
Nice.
Beautifully said, Junes.
Beautifully
Yeah,
said.
thank you.
And you heard it here first. BSN's coming out with an album. Don't worry, I don't think you guys are gonna be any under any, like, flames, because like there's probably got 4 listeners, which is gonna be the 3 of us and Mikey. But with that being said, thank you so much for sharing with me and my listeners, some updates with BSN and for the entire podcast. So I just want to wrap this podcast up by saying thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciated the time that you made for this recording, and honestly just had so much fun talking with you guys and catching
Same.
up again, because it's been a damn while. And I love to learn more about your creative process, how your origin stories, and the meaning behind the sentimental meaning behind some of the lyrics that you guys have written. But before we end the show, I think now would be a perfect time for you to plug in where people can find you or the work that you guys do.
All right. Well, you can find us on Spotify. Just type in Basically Saturday Night. You can check us out on YouTube as well at Basically Saturday Night. We have some live stuff. If you guys haven't seen us live, we have a couple of live concert shots over there, directed by William, TLC Productions.
Shout out
Shout
to the
out
man.
to
Shout out.
TLC.
We also have a music video and a
Chemical
couple
Love
of
music
other-
video.
Yes, and we have a
Direct
couple
Jobs. Shout out to him.
direct
Some
jobs.
serious work that went into that. My goodness, the animations and the
It's
editing
nuts.
that went into that. It's
nuts.
nuts. That's what he did.
We
And-
also
and
have, yeah,
in such a short amount of time. But sorry, Mitch, go
seriously.
on.
Yeah, and we also have a Facebook, and we're on Instagram as well at Basically Saturday Night. So yeah, if you guys want to keep updated, follow us on our socials, and you guys won't be disappointed. Sure, but
For
and
sure, Nation.
also,
Pero what
before-
about personals and your personal projects? Now's the perfect time to plug those in as well.
yeah, you can follow me at Mickey.g on Instagram. Yeah.
And
That's it.
Jago. Watch out for Jago.
Download,
Yes.
download the Jago app.
Download the Jago app, guys.
If you
It's coming.
haven't by now.
Can we get one ang maasahan before we go?
Jago. Maasahan. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
voice
music to my
acting
ears.
101.
There we go.
Voice acting 101.
How
All
about
right,
you,
Junes.
Junes?
Yes.
plug.
Please follow Basically Saturday Night. We have been a little lacking in the content lately, but that's because we want to make sure that we're just as ready to give as you are ready to receive. And I'm on Instagram at Manalo Junoy. I have an EP out that came out in July. It's Tarantism. It's 5 tracks on Spotify, 7 tracks if you check it out on SoundCloud. It was Tarantism, and I will have a new EP for you guys very, very soon. Tarantism Volume 2. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. exciting times. And he also teaches
okay.
guitar. So if you know,
Yes,
if you want,
yes.
if you want lessons,
Oh,
Yes,
that
yes.
too. That
Yeah.
that too. If you want to learn a thing or two about the instrument that you might not know already, um, yeah, message me on Instagram. Send me a text. Send me a message. Let me know what you want to learn. I will do my best. Yeah,
Nice.
man.
all right. So
Yeah. Roque, before anything,
What's up?
before we end it, I just wanted to say I really appreciate what you're doing also on this podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Man.
yeah, you're doing a fantastic job, man.
We
Like,
were
Thank
just
you so
talking
much.
off air, Migs, about like Rock and I were talking before you came on about just like Rock, you mentioned that you're doing 10 hours of prep and editing per episode.
crap.
Mad love, man. Mad props.
Thank you so
That's
much, man.
amazing, man. That's a
Sure.
craft.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
man.
just trying
Thank
to
you, really.
work and improve. And I'm honored to have you guys on because this
It's
is
an
an
honor to be
episode
here.
I've been wanting to do for quite some time. So I hope you all listeners enjoyed today's episode. And I think that about does it. So thank you all listeners for tuning in to another episode of the Raucous Modern Life podcast. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to share with hashtag RML podcast. Hit that follow on Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube so that you never miss an episode. And as always, I'll see y'all in the next one. Deuces.
Right.